now Wrestlemania. So, my favorite match of the night.
Oh, well, can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
So, I just want to talk about when I was walking into the Superdome for WrestleMania.
Okay.
I actually had two crazy moments. The first moment that I had, my WrestleMania moment, was with no other than The Miz. I had a Miz moment.
Dude.
So yeah,
awesome.
I didn't tell you all this shit. So, my wife and I are walking in to the Superdome. We're walking in and on the floor, but right when we get into the doors, on the right of us was like a special hallway, I guess where the wrestlers are, and I see The Miz, and we lock eyes. It's probably from here, maybe like 15 feet away, and I look at him, and he does this, like don't come up to me at all. And I'm like, all right, okay, I'm not going to do that. Because, I mean, I know he's like prepping for his match and all this. And he's a lot taller in person. Like, they always have him against these giants. The dude's probably like 6'4". But he's doing this. And so I'm not going to go up to him. And he's walking towards me because he was going to go towards the other hallway. But I just start yelling, greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time! Greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time! And he just like looked and smiled and kept walking. But still, like, I had a Miz moment, right?
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
that is awesome.
It kind of worked out. And then after that, maybe, no lie, 2 minutes later, I'm walking in. I look behind me. Guess who I see? Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone and all that stuff. So I'm like...
Yeah, he's apparently got a podcast that he does with this guy, Matt Cohen. And I guess he's a big wrestling fan.
He's a huge wrestling fan. So I go up to him. I'm like, hey, man, I saw your... Because he did a match against Hornswoggle, remember, like 3 months ago?
Yeah.
I was like, I saw your independent stuff. It's really good. And I was like, hey, and I never do this. I'm like, hey, you mind if I get a selfie? And he's like, oh, I'm with a lot of people. I was like, okay, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. Just welcome to New Orleans. I shake hands with him. I think that's over. I think it's over. So I go sit in my seats, and Hannah and I are sitting there. We look. Macaulay Culkin comes and sits right behind us. Like,
so you had better seats than Macaulay Culkin.
I did. I was one row in front, but when I say he was right behind us, it's not like he was directly behind me.
Yeah, the seat
directly
you
behind
were in, like row G, seat 4, and he was row H, seat 4.
Exactly. And it was him and his wife or girlfriend, and then his two brothers and their wife and girlfriends, or wife or girlfriends, whatever. But they were really cool. Like, I was kind of starstruck, to be honest. At the first match, I'm just like, I can hear them talking wrestling. And I'm like, holy shit, this is Macaulay Culkin. And every now and then, like, we would talk back and forth. His other brother that was in Home Alone with him, like, I talked with him.
Oh yeah, the one who was in, I think, Home Alone 3.
Okay, yeah. So
like, he took over when Macaulay Culkin was like, hey, I'm gonna start getting all like cracked out and whatever.
But they were really cool. Like, they knew their stuff. And yeah, so that was kind of a crazy WrestleMania moment for me. First The Miz, and then Macaulay Culkin sitting behind me for 7 hours for the WrestleMania show.
Yeah, mine was not as impressive. I had B-Goat sitting next to me, while illustrious as that is.
Right.
We were up in the rafters. I was contemplating, like, minutes before buying tickets. Like, we both bought tickets, 30 minutes before the ticket sale, the online ticket sales closed off?
It was stressful, but it was like the way to go.
Oh,
because
yeah.
My tickets were probably half the price that they were supposed to be.
Same here. Mine, I think I paid like $45 each for mine, and the face value on them was like $80.
Right. So you got 2 for 1.
Yeah. So the highlight match for me, I'm gonna have to say that the highlight match for me was the Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle, Stephanie, and Triple H match.
So that was my match of the night as well. They brought it. That was the only match that I've actually rewatched since, and I mean the whole match was entertaining. We
Yeah,
knew
the
that
whole match they were telling a story.
right, and we knew there were going to be some different spots where like Ronda Rousey wasn't going to start the match. It was going to take her like 10 minutes before she got that tag. We knew that was going to happen. But once she got in there, what did y'all think of her performance, man?
I thought that she was on. I thought that she looked really good in the ring. There was one like shoulder toss that she did on Stephanie that looked a little bit dirty, but I mean everything else, she looked great.
Yeah, I have to give her an A plus for her first wrestling match. It's in front of 78,000
Yeah.
people, and she killed it.
Let's see. I really liked that match. I thought that the whole time I was entertained with that match. And going in, I was afraid that Stephanie may actually have to carry somebody because of Ronda's inexperience in a wrestling ring, or that Rousey was going to have to take it super light as to play down to Stephanie.
Right, and you know what was also a nice surprise. So remember, like during the Attitude Era, like Bubba Ray is power bombing Mae Young in the tables and stuff, and it was just like ridiculous with like the violence with that. But I did like how at one point Ronda Rousey's like hitting Triple H, and then Shane McMahon. I mean, not Shane McMahon. Kurt Angle is putting Stephanie in the ankle lock. Like that was cool to see stuff like that happening.
Let's see. I was happy to see Bray return and help out his buddy Matt Hardy.
Yeah, I thought the Andre the Giant Battle Royal was actually entertaining. They mixed some storylines in it, and to see Bray Wyatt come out the way he did with the lights go out and all of a sudden he's in the ring was a surprise. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I was expecting that he wasn't going to come back until at best the Raw after SmackDown. I mean the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Let's see. The whole pre-show wasn't, well, the first two of the pre-show weren't that bad. I thought that the Andre the Giant match was really good. I thought that the Cruiserweight match was really good.
Yeah.
The Women's Battle Royale, I had complaints with.
Well, like what?
One thing that I would have liked to see is I would have liked to see that story play out a little bit more between Bailey and Sasha. Apparently they're playing it up to where that's going to be, I guess, at the next pay-per-view, but they had that story told before WrestleMania, and I would have preferred to see that over the Women's Battle Royale. The first half of it, there was too many women in the ring to where it was almost hard to tell who the hell was getting tossed out. I heard, I think Jim Cornette said it, to where he was like, I didn't even realize that Naomi had left the ring.
I didn't realize it either.
And it was apparently that she went underneath the ring at some point, right when 150 women were getting tossed over.
Like, did she get hit and then left the ring, or she
got hit and then slid under, like was laying there hurt kind of thing.
I gotcha.
The under the ropes.
I don't think that really works if you're a baby face either. Like if you're a nasty heel that's cheating to win, I think that's a cool spot, but not in this case.
Yes. While I have no problem with her winning, I think that the dirtiness of I was in all along, just went underneath the ropes to relax, a la Danny Flamingo when he got his Revolution champion. That that was a little bit off for her character. Um, Also, one thing that I noticed, did you pay attention to the trophy?
No, I didn't.
It basically looks like a vaginal cavity.
Really?
Yeah, like, that drawing that you study in
Oh,
sex ed
right,
or whatever,
right.
to where like the handles look like the ovaries and the whole 9 yards.
Right.
What I
Okay.
mean?
I'll have to look at that.
I don't need to give a sex ed class. Go back and look at the fucking trophy.
I will.
The Miz Balor Rollins match that started off the main WrestleMania. What did you think about that?
I think it was an entertaining match. I didn't like to see The Miz lose the title,
Yeah, neither did I.
and I don't like Finn Balor. Like, I'm not a fan of his, but I would rather him be the Intercontinental Champion than Seth Rollins. I feel like Rollins is above the Intercontinental title, and I don't get it.
Well, in all due respect, the Miz is above the Intercontinental belt, but he was telling that story so well, and it would have been nice to see him. I think he was like 15 days away or something like that from, I guess, coming in like at either number 1 or number 2 for longest reigning Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a little disappointing to see him lose. Overall, I did think that the match was cool. When I went back and watched that match, I noticed that Rollins was wearing blue contacts when he went in. I didn't notice it from up in.
Did
You know,
he wore those?
I didn't
like,
notice it from the moon.
He didn't. He didn't wear those like the whole match, or he just wore them. He just wore them at the entrance, or
No, I think he was wearing them the whole time.
the whole match. Okay, yeah.
It
I
was
didn't
just
know.
these contacts that made him have like the Winter Walkers or whatever.
The White Walkers?
The White Walkers.
Yeah,
From Game of Thrones. He looked like one of those.
I see.
I don't know how I feel about that. This overusing of the graphics, I noticed. Ever since the mixed match challenge, they're using like all these like this like 3D text and almost what looks like Snapchat-ish filters to where like the puppy dog faces and shit like that you'll see like girls posting on Facebook and all that. The same kind of premise. I feel like they were using little things of that nature throughout WrestleMania, and parts of it on the TV kind of took away from it. It made it look less refined of a show. While I understand that they were trying to show, hey, we're up and up with the times and the technology, and we know that all the kids like to put puppy dog faces on themselves, but it didn't need it.
Yeah.
It didn't need it to push it over. The Asuka Charlotte match, that was an early match. It went like 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, I thought that was a great match.
Going back and watching it, yes, it was incredible. At the event, that was right when I got up to like go use the bathroom or something, to where when I got back, the match was pretty much ending.
I was shocked by the
So-
outcome. I didn't see Asuka winning this one.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't see Charlotte winning
I
this
didn't.
one.
I didn't see Charlotte winning. I thought that they were going to tell that Asuka storyline a lot longer than they did. I figured that the streak was going to go another year. Just to really nail home the impressiveness of the streak.
Mhm.
The next match was the U.S. Championship match, which your boy won. And if you'll notice on my notes, I even said Jinder was U.S. champ because
Right.
on Raw this week he lost the belt.
Yeah, I don't get that move. I guess I'll save my thoughts on that for the shakeup. But I guess if anyone was gonna win, I feel like Rusev kind of should have won.
Yes,
But
I've got a lot to say about Rusev too. I'm almost hearing, or I'm hearing a lot of rumors that Rusev may be asking to leave WWE.
I just don't understand it with a guy that's so over. The fans want to see
He
be
is-
successful.
Throughout Wrestling Week, the most popular shirt that I saw in on the fans was Rusev Day shirts.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, they keep holding him down, and I don't get it right now.
Yeah, I'm going to talk a lot more about him in a little bit. But your boy won.
Yeah, so I went home happy with that.
Yeah. Let's see. The next match was the Rousey Angle match, which we've pretty well covered.
Yes.
The match of the night. Following that was the SmackDown match, to where the SmackDown tags, to where it was the Bludgeon Brothers and New Day and the Usos, to where the Bludgeon Brothers won it. But the highlight of that one was New Day coming down with midgets dressed as pancakes.
Yeah. Was the little Wildcat guy there too?
Yeah, Shorty was one of the pancake
That's
guys.
what I thought.
So Shorty had his WrestleMania moment. Shorty, we watching you, buddy. We watching.
We see. I thought that was a cool match. I didn't really think the Bludgeon Brothers were going to win. I really thought that New Day or the Usos were going to keep the title and not pin one of the Bludgeon Brothers, you know what I mean, to win. But it was a short match. They're still doing that storyline where they're just straight dominating.
That's going to continue for a few months. I think the dance between those three.
Mm-hmm. I like though that it wasn't this 25-minute match. Like some matches, to be good, it doesn't need to be this drawn out match. You can have a match like this and it's just as good.
Yeah, and I thought that the storyline to it went well with it being not as long. The next one, this is where it starts to get a little bit weird for me. This is where it starts getting weird. All right, for starters, throughout the whole show, John Cena was sitting like front row in the audience because he said, because I don't have a match until I'm fully set up with a match, I'm sitting right here front row. And I guess he was sitting there with Jarius or whoever.
Well, another crazy story. So at one point before the show, or I don't know, during the show, something, I went to go to the bathroom. I see this guy from grammar school that I hadn't seen in, I don't know, man, 7-8 years. My friend Chris Gotro. He goes, dude, you won't believe it. John Cena is sitting directly next to me and my wife. I'm like, what? So Macaulay Culkin's sitting behind me, and his wife is sitting right next to John Cena. I mean, the chances of that's insane.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we didn't know if this... Well, we knew it was going to happen, the Taker-Cena match, but... Okay, go on.
So, the referee runs out at the end of that match and whispers something to John Cena. Or no, at the end of the Charlotte match, he comes out and whispers something in his ear, and he disappears to the back. Well, then about 15, 20 minutes later, all of a sudden his music comes on. He comes out to the ring, and he says, "All right, I hear somebody's calling out for me. Come on out." Goes dark. You hear a guitar. And Elias comes out, and he cuts a promo, and he says, "Why don't you go back to doing what you did, what you do best, and go sit in the audience."
Yeah.
Elias's bit was cool, And then John Cena got pissed off and did a match with him and squashed Elias.
Mm-hmm.
While I would have loved to see Elias win, for him to be in one of the quote unquote top spots of the night, I can't complain.
Right.
So then Elias loses. John Cena's standing there, and like his music kicks on, like basically saying, "Get the fuck out of here! You already had your match."
Right.
He gets halfway up the ramp, and then the lights go out again. Spotlight comes on in the ring, and it's the Taker's shit from last year. All his hat and gloves and boots and coat and whatever the hell else he left in the ring. Lights go back out, comes back on, the shit's gone. Taker's music comes out, Grandpa takes 10 minutes to come down, and Taker squashes fucking Cena. Like, he made Cena look extremely pitiful.
He made Cena look like James Ellsworth.
Yeah. I really didn't like the way that match went. I understood that Taker needed to, Taker needs to win every match now to not lose the legacy of his streak. But at this point, I don't want to see a match at all with Taker. I want to see Taker at WrestleMania. I want to see him be the voice of reason, to where like when you're a shithead heel and you have your fight, maybe like leading up to WrestleMania, you make fun of Undertaker in some fashion, and then when your match is done, all of a sudden lights go down, lights come up. There's Taker. He choke slams you, tombstones you, lights go out, lights come back on, he's gone.
Right.
Or, let him do his saunter back up the ramp, do the fist at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So long as he's not taking his sweet ass time doing it. I felt like it took up way too much time for him to go and squash Cena, and didn't really tell a good story to me.
I heard that there may be the reason that squash happened is maybe next WrestleMania they have a rematch and it's actually a longer match. Like maybe part of the storyline is, I don't know, Cena saying, I wasn't on my A game, give me another shot kind of thing. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but
yeah.
I'm just saying that's what I heard.
Yeah, I don't want to see The Undertaker wrestle at WrestleMania anymore. I'm sorry, Undertaker. You were one of my favorites as a kid. I always played as you on the WWF WrestleMania arcade game, where you could like shoot souls and shit.
Yeah.
And like when you did like a double fist thing, instead of it being a hammer, it would show a tombstone. I was not really happy with that match whatsoever. I thought that it took too much time, and I thought that the go between Elias and Taker was choppy and didn't seem like it was smooth running at all. So I hope that they don't do that shit again. Let's see. Watching that one back on TV, when apparently when the lights went on Undertaker's shit in the ring and went off, there was a lightning bolt that they showed on TV that again looked like Snapchat shit, and it looked tacky. It looked like crappy special effects. With the budget and technology that WWE has, that lightning bolt should not have looked as shitty as it did. Mm-hmm. If you really don't believe me, Suffer through it and go watch it. You'll agree. It looked shitty. Um, let's see. The next thing was Daniel Bryan and Shane versus KO and Sammy.
I was pretty underwhelmed by this match.
Well, I was underwhelmed with Shane's work in the match. They didn't really give Daniel Bryan a whole ton of time
No.
in the match. It seemed like that match was very short. And I think, again, it was because they had 15 matches or whatever on the card. It was nice to see Daniel Bryan back in the ring. But I thought that they could have told a little bit better story. See, the Alexa versus Nia Jax match. That was another one that I was a little bit disappointed in. While I understood, or I knew that they were leading it up to Nia winning that belt. I just feel like that match was a little bit choppy.
Yeah, I didn't really care for this match at all. And I mean, I think we talked about this before. Just having a monster, some like Nia Jax, she shouldn't be a baby face. She should be a heel. Alexa, but I just didn't like the story going into it, and that kind of like hindered me from even liking the match.
Well, one other thing that I have here is that throughout the match, it seemed like every time that Alexa hit Nia, that Nia would start crying again.
Yeah, it's just
And it's like, I don't want to see my champion crying other than I'm so happy I am the champion.
right.
So, yeah, I didn't like this match too much. AJ Nakamura.
This match, everybody was saying this is a dream match. At this point in the show, I think it was putting people to sleep.
Yeah.
I know that's Dave's boy, AJ Styles. However, I think the placement of the match and the card, people were exhausted, and it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Maybe if I watch it back, it may be better on television, but the only part that I did like was seeing Nakamura turn at the end.
Yeah, I did like seeing him do that heel turn. I mean, the match was okay, but I thought that, yeah, it could have been a lot better. Maybe there wasn't enough high risk spots or what. I can't put my finger on what it was about it that I didn't like, but yeah, I wasn't.
People were picking this match to be the match of the
Yeah,
night.
everybody was saying that it was gonna steal the show.
And I don't even think it was in the top 5-6 matches, which is
Yeah.
crazy to even say.
Yeah. So the next match, the Raw Tag Team match.
Yeah, so this was one of the matches where we were all excited. Like, who is Braun Strowman? So first off,
yeah, for weeks they were leading up the storyline. Oh, I'm gonna have a special partner. You know, that they were leading it to be like, oh, it's gonna be a big return. It's gonna be somebody like Bobby Lashley. It's gonna be a Big Cass. It's gonna be maybe a reappearance of somebody like I don't know, anyone,
So-
like a Rob Van Dam, or there was a billion people who were in town
So
that
before
they could have easily thrown in as, oh, this is my temporary partner.
the match, my new friend, Macaulay Culkin's brother, me and Kieran Culkin are talking, right? And I'm like, hey, who do you think is going to be? He said he thought it was going to be the Big Show. And
Yeah.
and I was like, okay. I go, I think it's going to be Hulk Hogan. And he goes, if it's Hulk Hogan, I'll give you $20. And I'm just like, okay, well, we're hoping it's going to be somebody, though, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And then the way they did it, where Braun Strowman comes out, and then he's going to pick someone from the crowd, it was just like, oh, man. So now this one part that we were waiting for, this big surprise return, it wasn't there.
Instead, it was a 10-year-old kid named Nicholas,
Yeah.
which I would have had no problem with the whole kid angle thing under one situation. Had it been the little kid that they just inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, he seemed to be very charismatic. And furthermore, I think that in order to fully sell it, the kid would have had to get tagged in like Nicholas did and either pulled off some sort of move like, stomp on Sheamus's foot or something.
Right.
And then when he goes to tag, that he has to climb the turnbuckles to tag Braun Strowman.
Mm-hmm.
And then Strowman simply pick him up and put him on the stairs or, put him on the ring apron and get back in the ring and do his finishing move, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But with it not being a big return and not being Jarius, I thought that it was a huge flop. There was a lot of people who said that they thought that this was going to, the whole reason that they did the Nicholas thing was to give the impression that, anywhere that I go, that WWE goes, you never know. They could need somebody from the audience again to even more encourage that you need to get a ticket to go
show.
to a live event.
Right.
But yeah, I thought that they really flopped on that, especially saying that they had to relinquish the belts the next day because Nicholas has got previous engagements, the 4th grade.
Yeah.
Such a failure, WWE. Such a failure with that Nicholas storyline.
Yeah.
So the last match, the Universal Championship.
I thought this was a terrible match. The crowd wasn't into it. However, I liked the ending because it's not what we thought was going to happen. When Brock Lesnar won, it was like, holy crap. So is he staying with WWE? What's going on here? So I just liked that. I assumed that I was going to go home mad that Roman Reigns won because we just knew that was going to happen. But they threw a little curveball at us, which I thought was good.
I wanted to see Roman win mainly because I want to see the belt more often. I'm tired of the belt being hidden behind closed doors for 3/4 of the year. I want to see the reason why all these people are fighting. You know what I mean? Ultimately, that's what it boils down to is that, you are a WWE superstar to win the WWE Championship. And from the way that they're playing the storyline, the Universal Championship is supposed to be the cream of the crop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I'm not seeing someone win that belt, or if I'm not seeing someone with that belt, well, what are they fighting for? The Intercontinental belt? Sure, it's a illustrious belt, but I want to see the big boy belt.
So did you watch this match again, like on the network?
Yes.
And what did you think from that perspective, just watching it on TV?
Watching it on TV, I thought that...
was it better or worse than like in person? Because in person, it was like, man, that was kind of a dud. But I don't know, like with the commentators and everything, if they made the match better.
A little bit. I think that also one of the things that affected it was fatigue. The fact that you'd been watching wrestling for 7 or 8 hours at that point.
Yeah.
And, by that time, I was almost like, okay, just finish this match. I want to go get some sleep.
Right.
So I rewatched it the next day, and I thought that the match itself was a little bit better. The quietness of the crowd was eerie. Again, just because everyone was either gone or, exhausted at that point.
Well, the thing is, I thought their match at WrestleMania 31 when it was Roman versus Brock main event, and then Seth Rollins came in,
Yeah.
cashed in. That match, even before Seth Rollins cashed in, I thought was outstanding.
Yeah, I thought that it wasn't that bad of a match.
And now, as good as that match was, this one was bad.
Yes, absolutely. This one, the only thing that was the big, I guess, shocker with it was how Brock busted Roman way open to end WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to see a gallon of blood pouring down.
No, it looked like he shot him in the face.
Yeah. One thing that I am going to say, I heard it a lot this week, or that week. This is awesome. Not everything is awesome, people. I'm sorry.
I think the people that start those chants, they just want to see if they could be like, hey, we started that chant. You know? But yeah, I agree with you. We hear this is awesome way too much.
Yeah, like it started off to where it was like only saved for when there was like 60-minute matches and shit like that. But like now there's like 3-minute matches and you'll hear people, this is awesome. This is awesome. It all can't be awesome. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks. So overall, how would you grade WrestleMania on like a A through F scale? You know,
I'd give it a B plus personally.
I'm gonna have to give it a C.
Wow. Okay.
A C, just because. I mean, if we're looking at it, basically this half of this or most of this second half here, we gave thumbs down on.
Yeah.
I mean, half of
an
your
I
card
from
kind
me.
of gave a. Dave gives it an I.
Incomplete bullshit. That's why I didn't watch it.
I don't know. I guess maybe being there, I had a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, being there added some of the excitement, but some of these game or some of these matches that should have overwhelmed us underwhelmed,
Yeah.
and I feel like too many of them did.
Okay, so I want to ask y'all a question. Since everyone's talking about the fatigue, it's an 8-hour show. Do you ever think they're going to do a 2-day WrestleMania event?
God.
Yeah, I see it. I see it coming to where they're gonna have to split it up in some fashion to where,
I just hope they never. I don't know, man, because it's
It
going to be
wouldn't
like.
surprise me. It'd be like a festival kind of thing.
But then it's like, well, what night are you going to? I want to see this match. Well, I want to see that match.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, I understand why you would do it because it's such a long day, but I almost feel like you're almost cheating the audience if they can only afford or go to one of the shows,
yeah.
So,
Either that or they need to make it to where it's like I hate to say it, but almost like an all-day event to where like there's a 2-hour intermission or an hour intermission in
Yeah.
between
right.
to allow you to get up and go stretch, go smoke, go get a drink, get something to eat.
Yeah.
Give you a decent amount of intermission and do it like a rock concert.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would save it a lot, and I think that they need to make it to where it starts just earlier in the day to where it can finish up at a decent hour. Because I didn't get home until like 1 in the morning, and I literally walked out of the ramp, immediately started looking for a cab.
A Hoover?
Yeah, a Hoover. I was looking for a Hoover all the time.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we spent like an hour looking for a Hoover.
Wow.
So, yeah, that part I think would help save it, is to make it a little bit less jam-packed into 5 hours,
Mm-hmm.
or you know what I mean.
Right.
So we